Hello and welcome. It's Saturday morning in the workshop and the war against broken tools rages on with these trio of yellow and black DeWalt. These have different issues and I'm going to show you it there. Lights are on. It's good for sending Morse code or something, that's all it's good for at the minute. What's the rotation of the chuck? Change the direction. See that time? Sometimes when you're trying to go into reverse, it goes forward instead. So that's suboptimal. Nailer. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. No, took a while that time. Left it a bit proud. So we're going to have a look at that and see what's going on there too. So we're going to start with this one and I'm going to remove the battery for you guys out there. I know some people have mentioned this dirty strip down a nailer one time without removing the battery. Sometimes I get excited and just start off without thinking. But anyway, happens a lot in my live streams when they're going on. So to tear this bad boy down, we remove the 10T10 screws that are in it. Funny enough, there was only 9. This one, there's one missing out of here. But anyway, the screws out, we can lift the side off. Get at the machinery. This one's been open before. It's had a switch clean, which is one of the first things we're going to do. And then I'm going to take out the mechanism and check the springs. Just giving this a blast with a good old brake cleaner. I find that a good job for the likes of this. With air. Even if you do stress these little clips coming off, you're really taping this down anyway, because the way when this comes new, this is the way it comes. The actual wires are taped to the switch like that. If you open a new one, it'll be the same. But you'll know if somebody's using like the tape I'm using, that it's been opened. I guess sort of a white tape they use in the new one. That's it, all taped up again. And now we'll get this mechanism open. I'm going to take the nails out, I think. There we are. That's the nails out, anyway. Yeah, we'll just get this top mechanism off and have a look at the driver. Yeah. Give that a bit of a clean. There's no harm as well. Note, never use oil in these nailers because they do not like it. It will mess them up quicker than anything. Just a bit of contact cleaner or brake cleaner, and that's your mission. We'll see. We'll have a look at the top now. See. Springs don't look broke from here, but we can pull them out. There's 2 screws on the side, T20s, you know. we'll be able to get that back off now. And pull out the driver and the springs. Driver's seen a bit of action. Should we replace the driver? Maybe. I might have a better driver about. But anyway, we'll see. And spring looks good to me. Spring 2 looks good to me. Again, we'll clean the wheel here. We're on here. A bit of air to dry it off now. Also, I think I'm going to clean this part too, because I'll take that off and give it a clean. I'll give that a clean too. A spare driver here. I think it looks a little bit better than the one that's coming out of this one. I think I will replace that. That said, I think I'm just going to put everything back together and see if it does any better. There's nothing really broken there as such. There we are. Nice and tight. Anyway, yeah, good. Right, so line up the driver now and all this gubbins. This is always fun. I think I'll give them all a good little clean. Just on the right way up. There's always a help. That appears to be sliding nicely, so we'll just put the screws on here in this back part. Make sure you tighten them, really tighten them. North side as well. Don't be afraid to really tighten that down. Make sure it's really tight. And now we have to put the top on. This part. Again, 2 screws. And there's a little release mechanism you have to put on here too. Right, here we go. The spring goes in here. You locate that in there. There we are. And that's in place now. That's your release mechanism. So just got to fit everything back into place here again. Just want to put this back together. I noticed that the magazine's also broken. There's a lug broken off the magazine. I have a spare one, which is lucky for me. Yeah. This spare one, a bit of a clean, it's sliding better now. There's a bit of stuff. That's good. The magazine's quite easy, and these are just 2 screws here. With these off before as well. It's just there we are. That orientated like that. Get it over the wee thingamy. There we are. Looking good. Good enough. We might be able to put this together now. Make sure all them wires run out of the way just. We'll stick the side cover on and out, and we'll try and call that fixed, I think. We'll see. We're all back together. Just stick some nails on and see if we can't get out of fire. Most definitely calling that fixed. We'll move on to the next item now. This one ain't going. This is a DCH253 Type 2. This is an old brushed one. What you have to do is do a full tear down on this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the motor. I'm going to do the full service in this one. New motor, new brushes there. So new motor, new brushes, and I'm going to service the hammer as well. So any of you that you watch my channel often or watch my live streams or whatever, you know what it involves. You could probably do it yourself now. I'm going to start the teardown. This could be a long one, so if you want to pause the video and go make yourself a cup of tea, that wouldn't be a bad idea at this point. Take this handle off. I'm going to try and give it as good a detailed teardown as possible if you have one of these yourself. So you just pull this rubber thing out of the end of the chuck, that's all there is to that. And you should get a wire clip down on there. And you have to relieve to get the chuck cover off. This wire clip has to come up. Use a screwdriver or similar sort of thing. Pull it out of the position. There it is there. It'll now give you access to the chuck. You pull that off. And you have the chuck parts. You have a ball there. We'll pull that out. That'll try not to lose that. And these parts here. Keep them. Now the side switch. The spring. Careful, you can lose the spring. You can shoot off into oblivion. It's happened to me a few times. And every screw in this is T20 Torx, so that helps you. And that's that off now. And there's all these screws and the label to cut through here. This has never been opened before, so to get label off, to split the body, you know. And that is only the beginning, boys. If you're still watching, and girls, all 4% of my viewing demographic. All the screws out. I'm going to do something that's going to look quite aggressive and violent. You hold your hand there and hold your weight on it, and then pull this up, and that comes off. It looks the guy broke it, but it didn't. That's the way it just clips apart. And it's quite easy to do that, and it's quite safe to do that. You're not breaking anything. Keep all the little parts for later. You will need those later in the reassembly. At this stage, well, these brushes ain't too bad, but I'm going to change the motor and all anyway. I've been assigned to that task, and that's what I'm doing. Give it a good oil. Good old de-dust before we go any further. And we'll just go stage by stage here. We'll give the switch a little clean as well when we're on here. Give her a then we'll get these springs out here. Sometimes you got to solder them on, but this is well attached. Maybe somebody has soldered this one. We'll have to get in there to see. Anyway, we'll proceed onwards. And again, there's two screws here that I forgot to pull out. Pull those out. Those screws out, you're using the same method just to wrench it off. It doesn't do any harm. And the slide straight out of that as well. And you're ready to go with all these screws now. And all these screws are T20 as well. Right, let's get the lid off here now. I would preferably like to get that wire off, but that wire's proving hard to get off. Unless somebody was in here before and soldered that on, I don't know. I'll give it another bash here. It should come off easier than that. That's well on there. We'll get this pried open here now. There we are. Somebody's been here before. Look at that. Somebody soldered that on. It is a good idea though. It keeps them on. But anyway, not a good idea for us because we're right. We start with the motor or we start with the hammer. Might start with the motor. Makes it hard to dismantle when they're soldered, but it's a real good idea for keeping it on. There mightn't be much wrong with this motor, you know. Could be just the hammer jammed. Anyway, we'll get the motor out first anyway. Getting sidetracked here. I would say the armature is done. Aye. Say it does need a motor. And I think these is not coming out because they're sort of melted. I think that's a problem. It gives me heat there as well. See, that's holding on as well. Yeah, there's a bit of heat there. Them's had a bit of heat. I need that rubber thing again. But anyway. They would do if you had no brushes, but you know, they've had a bit of heat. Let's see. So that's the electronics removed. They're well on there. They're not coming off anytime soon. Anyway, now time to take a look at the hammer. Let's see. I'll pull that out to see what it looks like. There's a little spring and there's a little washer. Don't want to use a little washer, I'll leave that there. Aye, the hammer needs a service too, I would say. Doesn't feel right. We'll maybe service the hammer, then we'll do a motor replacement. Not too bad. But when we're in here, we'll do it. We'll service the hammer, yeah, and we'll do a motor replacement. New O-ring for that. This is a little generic O-ring I'm using. You can get the genuine one handy enough. Oh, no room for a glove in there. Oh, that's a good job. Yeah. Looking fairly good, that. Pretty strong. Fairly strong there. And that's how you service the hammer in these. Well, it's a basic service. You do have to make sure that nothing else is broken or there's nothing in no other issues. And believe me, there can be multiple issues with these things. There's a reason outside of that as well. That should be the hammer serviced. Now we'll do the motor service. Right, just pull off the fill coil, and you can smell that. I can actually smell that that's been burnt, so that motor is definitely scrap. We'll have to reuse this fill coil. I might give it a little clean up first. Might be wise. Nice clean fill coil now, and what we do is, you see there's a little notch here. That little notch goes about here roughly. It sits on roughly like that, because it has to fit in a slot here. But anyway, what we're doing is sliding this on. Sliding that in like that. And setting it in like that. Some way. But anyway, before we do that, we have to put on the brushes as well. Like that, and there's a little rubber to protect the bearing. It must have done the job because the bearing hasn't failed in the other one. But yeah, and there's a way that this slides on, and it's kind of like this here. And like I said, you have to orientate the little notch sort of to the top near enough. You can manipulate it a little bit when you're putting on the cover. And the brushes have to slide in a little slot like that. See? You go in like that, and the motor goes in like that. It should drop on somewhere around there. You'll be looking at. I think we're ready to put on the cover. We might try and attach the wires first, because somebody's did a soldering job. We might have to cut them off and put on new terminals or something. I'll figure something out here. We'll get something done. Usually put the lid on first, but this is different here. We'll actually put the wires on first. Make sure they're on right and stay on. Then we can put the lid on. Again, you're lining up for that notch there, on the underside. There we are. when you get it together this far, you can test it with a battery. But in the interest of the spectacle of the video, I'm going to just put it all together and hopefully it'll go then. You can test it to save you more work. You can put a battery on here and pull the switch, you know, provided you have it all sealed up right. And you can put on the side switch to make sure you're in the right position. But we're not going to do that. We're going to live dangerously here. So we're going to put it together and hopefully we'll have a result. The side back together, there's a little slot for that to get into there, and you have to align the side somehow. If you get it that far, you can usually, sometimes you have to reach in here and give it a little pry with a screwdriver to get it lined up. That's lined up quite well. When you get it to that stage, you can put in a couple of screws just to hold it there. I wouldn't put them on the full way because there was still the springs to put on. Even one screw will hold it. There's still the springs to put on. And you see there's two different sizes of springs. Two different circumference. The weaker one goes down here. And the stronger one goes up here. Okay. And then we put in the electronics the right way up. Hopefully. That's the goal anyway. Start here. The wires are neat and tidy there now. This little thing, I think I'll take the gloves off to put that on. There we are, and we have another little metal thing that goes here. You know, we go with the side on now. There we are, line up the bottom and all, and make sure everything's sitting on, and we'll line up all the screws now and put them on. Now refit the chuck. A little bit of grease helps things move. to put a battery in and see what's happening with this after all that work. So we'll try in ordinary drill mode first. That's good. Yeah. Try in hammer drill mode. Good strong hammer. Good strong hammer there. And try in chisel mode. Good strong hammer there. I'm calling that fixed, so we'll move on to the next one. Then was this curious one. It is going. Seems to be going alright there now, but sometimes you throw it onto reverse and she continues to go forward. So what I'm going to do is going to do a full motor change in this one to remedy that. First part of this job is getting out the screws. It shouldn't be too bad. T10 torque is what you use. There's one down here as well. You can see that. And there's one at the bottom. Forgot about that. Should be able to get this open now. Here we are. So what we're doing now is we're putting in this second hand one I have acquired through a series of fortunate events, and we're removing this old one here. That's the old one. Here we are. Put that on the top there. And the screw is really annoying. That screw all the way out. It was in my way, but that's good now. You see there's a slot for that to go into there, the top of the switch. And you want to get these wires out of the way as usual. And there's another slot for this part of the switch. And if you want, you could put a screw in a little bit just to hold it at this stage. It can be a nice little policy to, nice little insurance policy to stop everything from falling out of place on you. Anyway, right in there. That's the way it goes. And the switch goes like that. And your battery holder goes like that, and then we'll just slide the side on, and we should be good to go fairly quickly with this one. Again, we'll put another screw in there, attaching the gearbox to the body. Just to keep things lined up a little bit. There we are. Throw in the rest of the screws and we should have a good job. That's the screws all in. For the moment of truth. Yep. Forward, reverse. I think that's right now, and the light. Yeah. That was good. That's the 3 fixed. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and check out my channel for all my other videos.